Assalamualaikum and good day, Dada. So today, me and my partner are going to present our lesson plan for teaching writing skill. So my name is Nur Aina Nabilah binti Jailani, and my partner is Jill Isabel Chin Fepin. Right. So in this presentation, we will explain about two lesson plans, which is under the topic expository writing and also creative writing. So I'm going to start with expository writing first. So for this lesson, it is for Form 3 students with level of proficiency intermediate to advanced, and the lesson duration will be for 70 minutes. So the theme of the lesson is about science and technology, and the topic is about expository writing, where we focus on teaching persuasive essay. So the focus skills are for the main skill. Of course, we are going to focus on writing, where the students will be taught on how to write a persuasive essay, and one of it by writing a draft through the worksheet and that we provided. And the complementary skill would be reading. So we provided an activity where the students had to read an example of a persuasive essay and understand the essay by highlighting the thesis statement, hook, and main argument so they know and can use it as a reference to write a persuasive essay. So these are the lesson objective and the success criteria for the lesson. For the lesson objective, the first one is by the end of lessons, pupils will be able to understand the components of persuasive essay, the whole thesis statement, and also main arguments. So basically, one of the objectives is to get the students to know the component of the essay. And as for the success criteria, is to list and explain the components of persuasive essay with 70% accuracy. So the students need to list out the components of persuasive essay so that the teacher knows that they are able to understand the lesson. The next one is to analyze an examples persuasive essay and identify its components. And the success criteria is to identify the hook, as a statement, and main arguments in the example essay with 70% accuracy. So for this one, students need to identify the three components based on the example of a persuasive essay that has been prepared by us. So the last lesson objective is to apply knowledge of persuasive essay structured by completing the worksheet. And the success criteria is to answer the worksheet with minimal error, 70% accuracy. So the student will be evaluated on how well they are able to understand the worksheet by applying the knowledge based on the lesson. Right, so these are the materials that will be used for the lesson. So we have whiteboard, highlighters, sticky notes, marker paper, which is the brainstorming. But as you can see on the slide, it's just a drawing on an A4 paper because I just want to show how it will look like. But during actual class activity, of course, I'll be using major paper so that the three are bigger for the students to paste the sticky notes. And then we have printed paper of a persuasive essay example that will be given to the pairs, and then PowerPoint slide, and the last one is a worksheet. So this is a pre-lessons, which is a set induction that we take 8 minutes. So after greeting, the teacher asks students about mobile phone, which are, do you have a mobile phone? How often do you use it, and what do you use it for? This will be shown on the PowerPoint slide so that students can see better. And the reason why I ask this question is just because, like a hook, to get the students' attention, to make them think and prepare what students' lesson will be about. And then teacher will present using slide, the essay prompt. Mobile phone should be allowed to be brought to school, and tell them that they need to write a persuasive essay that will be published in their school magazine. So this is a way to get the students ready and have the idea that today's lesson will be about learning and writing a persuasive essay. Then teacher asks first, what is persuasive? And then teacher will explain using the slide. At the end of the step induction, teacher will introduce today's lesson, which will be about writing a persuasive essay so that the students will be aware. All right, moving on to the lesson development for the pre-writing stage, which will take 50 minutes. Firstly, teacher will explain what is the thesis statement, then the hook of the essay, and the main arguments that need to be included when writing a persuasive essay. The reason why I include this step is because I believe that it is important to be familiar with and understand the components of a persuasive essay. Next, teacher shows an example of a persuasive essay. So this is the example essay that we provided to the student entitled Why Internet Access is Important for Students. So having this example of a persuasive essay helps to demonstrate how to effectively apply the concept of the three components in a real essay. It also helps students to visualize what their work should look like. Then teacher divides pupils into pairs, and each will be given a copy of the essay as well as three highlighted with different colors, which are red, blue, and yellow. Then teacher asks pupils to read the essay together as a whole class and discuss any unfamiliar words. This is to ensure comprehension and allows the teacher to immediately clarify any confusion. Next, teacher asks pupils to highlight the thesis statement, the hook, and main arguments in different colors. So having these different colors can help students to differentiate the three main components as they can refer to it better. Then teacher will discuss the answer as well as the essay with the class. So by breaking the lessons into these steps, The teacher helps students learn from basic ideas to real practice. All right, next is the writing stage, which will be 50 minutes. So for this stage, students will still remain in the same pair and they will be introduced a brainstorm tree. So this is where the students will share the ideas or the points that can be included in the essay. So the brainstorm tree is basically a mind map where the students need to fill the ideas using sticky notes provided. So students will be given 8 minutes to write any points they have on the sticky notes before pasting on the tree, which is on the whiteboard. And since we have some advanced students, there might be some students who want extra sticky notes to write their ideas, so they are allowed to have extra sticky notes. So after they are done, teacher will acknowledge and discuss students' answer to make sure the points that they wrote are acceptable and relatable with the essay prompt. So this stage is important and actually helpful for the students once they start drafting their essay. All right, moving on to the writing stage. So this stage required 27 minutes. So first, teacher going to divide students into a group of 4. Then each group will get a worksheet. So the reason why it has to be in groups instead of remaining in the same pairs, because I believe that working in groups encourages students to share ideas. You know, they can get more ideas and support each other as well as enhance their understanding through discussion. So this is the worksheet that we have prepared. As you can see, this persuasive essay online is actually helpful as it has some examples and instructions so that the students know what and how to write. So basically, teacher will ask people to finish the worksheet based on the writing prompt that was introduced at the beginning of the class. And they will be given 15 minutes to finish it. They also can refer to the brainstorm tree to get ideas to complete the worksheet. Then after 50 minutes, teacher will choose random groups to share the answer with the class. And as for the other students, they will listen and give feedback on their classmate answers. So this is basically to create a supportive learning environment where students can learn from each other. Then teacher gonna acknowledge and discuss students' answer to validate students' effort and provide additional guidance so they know if they did it correctly or not. And the last one, the activity would be teacher ask every pupil to write a complete persuasive essay in their exercise book, referring to the worksheet as their homework. So they have the draft, the ideas, then they will write their full essay in their exercise book as homework and will be discussed during the next class. Right. So moving on to the last stage, which is the post-lesson, the closure. So the duration is 5 minutes. So in this stage, first teacher asks pupils to share the moral values of the lesson. So this is to help students connect the lesson to real life values and enhance their creative thinking skills. Because in our lesson, we want it to be a meaningful lesson and not just learning about writing an essay only. And the teacher will acknowledge students' answer as well as recap the whole lesson. So we're going to ask what did they learn for today's lesson. And by recapping, we can ensure that students have understood the main concepts, the main ideas of the lesson. And lastly, teacher ends the lesson. All right, so this is all for expository writing. I'm going to pass to Jill to explain about creative writing.
A very good day I bid to Dr. Bakar. My name is Jill Isabel Chinfei and my metric number is 211558. I'll be presenting the lesson plan for creative writing. So the target of this lesson is for 2 students, and then the level of the students' proficiency is intermediate to advanced. The duration of the lesson will be 70 minutes long. The theme of this lesson is creativity and innovation. The topic is generating ideas and drafting in creative writing. So there are 2 focus skills in this lesson. The main skill is writing and the complementary skill is speaking. The lesson objective for this lesson is firstly, students will be able to learn various pre-writing techniques such as brainstorming, mind mapping, and outlining to generate ideas for the writing. And the success criteria for that lesson objective is students will be able to actively participate in pre-writing activities and demonstrate the ability to generate multiple ideas using different techniques. The second lesson objective is students will be able to learn how to create drafts in the writing process. And the success criteria is students will be able to write drafts that show coherence and organization with clear connection within ideas and paragraphs. The third lesson objective is students will be able to improve their writing skills, focusing on coherence, organization, and creativity. And the success criteria for that lesson objective is students will be able to write an essay that is 215 words long with 80% accuracy. Now, the materials that will be used in this lesson are whiteboard, picture of a magical creature that is printed on a piece of A4 paper, mahjong paper, and also marker pens. So for the set induction, it will be done in 5 minutes. To start the lesson, teacher will first greet the students, and then teacher will take the picture of the magical creature on the whiteboard. And then teacher will ask students what they see on the whiteboard. Students will answer and teacher will acknowledge the answers. After that, teacher will ask students what they would do if they were to own a magical creature as a pet. Students will answer and then teacher will acknowledge the answers. Lastly, teacher will tell students that today's lesson will be about creative writing under the topic magical pet. Now, the rationale for this activity is that when the teacher starts with a picture of magical creature, this catches the students' interest as this is not a topic that is included in the syllabus or in the textbook. So asking students what they see on the whiteboard gets them thinking and talking about the magical creatures that they know of or that they can imagine of. This gets them involved right from the start and makes the topic more personal when they think about what it would be like to have a magical pet. Plus, starting with such an imaginative idea encourages students to be more creative in their writing. Next, we'll be going into the lesson development, or we'll go into pre-writing stage first. The pre-writing stage will be done in 30 minutes. So firstly, the teacher will explain to the students the concept of asking 5W1H questions, which include who, what, where, when, why, and how to gather information and ideas. After that, teacher will provide examples that are related to the prompt, a magical pet, to students. Example is maybe a unicorn that can grant wishes and heal people, or maybe a dragon that could breathe and fly. After that, teacher will get students to generate questions based on the prompt, a magical pet, using the 5W1H concept. And then if the students answer, teacher will acknowledge the answers. After that, teacher will present students with the writing prompt. Imagine you have a pet that can talk and has magical powers. What does it look like? And what adventures do you go on together? Then the teacher will divide the class into 5 groups. Well, this one depends on the number of students, but for this class, it will be divided into 5 groups. And then teacher will give students time to brainstorm and share their ideas in their groups. Then, while students are brainstorming, teacher will distribute a piece of marker paper and a marker pen to each group. After that, teacher will draw a bubble map on the whiteboard that shows a magical creature's traits and explaining to the students. This is basically just the teacher demonstrating to the students on how a bubble map should look like and what do you usually include in a bubble map. And then teacher will teach students how to create a bubble map based on the different aspects and details of their magical pets and adventures. After that, teacher will give students 10 minutes to create their bubble map. Now, once done, teacher will ask a representative from each group to present their bubble map in front of the class. Once the presentation is over, teacher will discuss the basic structure of an essay, which includes introduction, body paragraphs, and also conclusion. Then, teacher will guide students in creating a simple outline for their essay based on their bubble maps. Now, the rationale for these pre-writing stage activities is that by teaching students to ask who, what, where, when, why, and how questions, teacher is actually helping them to gather information and ideas in a more structured way. This approach encourages students to thoroughly explore the imaginary creatures and adventures before they start writing. And then examples like dragons and unicorns with special abilities that I have included will inspire students to think more creatively. And then the writing prompt, imagine you have a pet that can talk and has magical powers, gives students a clear focus for the creative writing and also prompt them to imagine their magical pets and their adventures that they would like to go on together. After that, the group work allows students to brainstorm together, and then using a bubble map helps them organize their ideas visually. And this is great, especially for visual learners. Then when students present their bubble maps to the class, this encourages discussion and also confidence, especially those who will be presenting the bubble map. And then teaching the essay structure and helping students create outlines based on their ideas guides them in writing coherently and more effectively. Moving on to the writing stage, it will be done in 15 minutes. So firstly, the teacher will give students 8 minutes to individually write a quick draft of their essay based on the outlined ideas using the points in the bubble map created earlier. Then, teacher will divide the class into pairs. After that, teacher will instruct students to exchange their drafts and read through it. After that, provide feedback to each other on coherence and organization. And after 3 minutes, the teacher will ask students to give back the drafts. Now, the rationale for this writing stage is that students will have to write a quick draft based on their outline ideas, which then encourages them to practice translating thoughts into written form by themselves. And then students will exchange drafts and read each other's work. And then they have to provide feedback on how well the writing flow is organized. This promotes critical thinking and also constructive feedback skills at the same time. Now, after receiving feedback, students will have to revise their drafts based on the comments received. This emphasizes the importance of reflection and improving their writing through multiple drafts. These steps encourage students to become more effective writers by practicing writing independently, learning from peers, and refining their work through thoughtful revision. Now, for the rewriting stage, it will be done in 15 minutes. Firstly, the teacher instructs students to rewrite their drafts in 8 minutes after receiving feedback. Once the 8 minutes are up, teacher will allocate 3 minutes for students to ask the teacher questions about their draft. And then lastly, teacher will assign students to write a full essay based on their own drafts as homework. Now, the rationale for this rewriting stage is students revise their drafts based on the feedback that they receive. So this focuses on clarity and coherence. And then students ask the teacher questions to clarify any doubts about their drafts. This ensures that students understand the feedback that they have received. And when students are tasked with writing a complete essay based on their revised drafts, this encourages them to apply their learning independently and refine their writing skills further. Now, lastly, for the post lesson, which is also the closure for the entire lesson, teacher will get 2 students to share their experience with the pre-writing and drafting process. And then teacher will recap the importance of brainstorming and drafting in the writing process. Then teacher will ask a student to share what moral values they have learned from today's class. And then lastly, teacher will end the class. The rationale for the post lesson is students share their thoughts on the pre-writing and drafting process, and they can learn from each other's approaches. Maybe some people might have learned a new way to draft or create a draft of their essay before they start writing. And then the teacher summarizes why brainstorming and drafting are crucial in writing so that students understand the day's objectives clearly. And then lastly, students discuss moral lessons learned from the lesson, and this encourages deeper thinking beyond writing skills. Now, that is all for the creative writing lesson plan. Thank you very much, Doctor, for your time. That is all for our presentation.